Hey, this is John from DistressedMullet.com, and this is the Sonar report for October 25th, and this is everything that I'm seeing in the stand-up paddle world. Today's Sonar report is sponsored by Quick Blade Paddles, the strongest, lightest paddles in or out of the water. We're actually going to go over the 83 flyweight, and this is Jimmy Terrell.
We found that the flyweight, when I originally introduced it, was kind of intended to be a youth paddle, but it turned out to be so good for basically anybody under 150. We sell it to a lot of ladies and a lot of guys that are just a little smaller, or anybody under 150. In fact, I think even Matt Becker's using the flyweight just as of lately, because he's was feeling pretty good with that one. And Anthony and Candace and a couple of my better surfers, they surf with the flyweight, and they race with the 90 square inch blade.
The Sonar is also sponsored by the Surf to Sound Challenge, the East Coast Paddle Surf Championships in Riceville Beach at the Blockade Runner Beach Resort on November 15th, 16th, and 17th. It's a two-day expo. The elite race is Saturday. The Surf Sup contest is on Sunday. And in the absence of any other Surf Sup specific championships, this is now the official East Coast Championships. So on my radar this week, the Chattajack 31. Everyone's headed out there. It's going to be very cold. From the reports I've heard, it's going to be under 40 degrees at the start, maybe even below freezing at 8 a.m. A lot of people are trying to figure out how to layer, what to wear, whether to wear wetsuits. Probably wouldn't suggest a wetsuit just because it's going to be such a long paddle and you will heat up very quickly. So treat it like a cold weather run where you layer a lot. Some of the things that people are using, people are scrambling, try and get their sup pockets and things like this because they need places as they're stripping down to put everything in the board. Another thing as far as the rise of the prone that I'm seeing is a good example is the Chattajack, because you've got 6 boards in this year's event and last year you had none. They're all going to do the 31 miles. Actually, Joe Bark and Chris Aguilar are going to be out there with Reno Caldwell, Dan Mitchell, Mark Shen, and Kim Sutton. It's going to be a really interesting paddle with the 6 of them on the flat water. It looks like they're going to release a lot of water, so the currents will be about 3 times faster than they were last year. Last year, I don't think we had any current helping us, so hopefully 3 times 0 doesn't mean 0. I think it's like 3 plus 0, so we'll make it 3. I don't know what that means. Also, it's getting really cold, but people are paddling everywhere. They're going with dry suits. Sup Yoga Vancouver still having classes out there if you've got a wetsuit. They're happy to take you out on the water. They're still seeing jellyfish, seals, salmon jumping out of the water. It's amazing. I would definitely not put your board away. I would just get some warm weather gear. For those of you who are going to be surfing in the cold weather, I definitely would check out the wave caps. I'll have information on the site of where to get them, but if you're used to wearing a hood when the cold water hits, that's fine, but this is great because you use a regular wetsuit. It's got a Velcro attachment. It's also got the brim because it gets really bright out there, so like a baseball hat, you can sort of put your head down. And definitely remember, when you're going through the waves and you're punching up through a wave, don't put your head back because then this will stretch out like that. So put your head down when you're going through the waves, just like with the hood. Sup Zombie shirts are now going to be available on the Mullet. Adam Clark, the Unicorn of Death, do the finger quotes for that. That's his self-designation, and I'm not calling him that. He sent me a box of Sup Zombie shirts to sell, and they're going to be available for $15 plus shipping and handling. I think it's going to be $20 total, and they're freaking awesome, as you can see here. For your race directors is I've seen a lot of really cool things happening with races that are going not just for t-shirts but bringing other things, and I still have to go back to my standby spam glass that I got from the Gassets up in the Sandbridge Hey, which is now it's now called the Sandbridge Paddle Fest. I don't know if they had the spam glasses there last week, but I heard it was an awesome race and it's something to check out every year. Paddlers can be a really big resource for the local triathlon events. We have the Beach to Battleship. It's an iron distance triathlon here in Wrightsville Beach. It's coming up this weekend, and when you have a couple thousand people going through the water, stand-up paddleboards are really, really good for lines of sight and keep people who are uncomfortable in the water more comfortable, because they always see somebody that's there to help. So there's going to be volunteers here, and So there's going to be volunteers here through Jared Covington with Wrightsville Sup. I'm going to have information on the mullet on how to get involved, but I highly recommend that everybody show up on Saturday morning, put your time in, help people out. It's one of the best events on the water, and it's a lot of fun. Well, that's it for this week. Make sure you check out Quick Blade Paddles. Thank you, Jimmy and Lizzie, for sponsoring this week's Sonar report. Definitely check out the Surf to Sound. It's not too far away. You only got a couple of weeks, but stay at the Blockade Runner Beach Resort.